Hi everybody. So, how was week 1 for you in this challenge? In our corn fit challenge? So, week 1, we wanted you to focus on what your goals were for this 8-week challenge. How'd that go? From what I take from the posts, just excuse me, got Charlie here beside me, distracting me. Anyways, back to what I was saying. I've noticed from the posts on Facebook that I think pretty well all of us crushed week 1. I think it's pretty safe to say. So congratulations on that. Way to go, everybody. So moving into week 2. Week 1, I want you guys to focus on what your goals were and why you wanted that goal. Week 2. You will find a lot of times that our way of thinking gets in the way of our goals. So we're going to shift our way of thinking, shift our thoughts this week, okay? So there's 3 ways to do that. 1, focusing on the positive. 2, the way we word things. And 3, celebrating, okay? So 1, we all do this, right? Just let me get to my notes here. Okay, so how many of you catch yourself throughout the day having a negative thought about yourself, about the situation? Maybe you screwed up and ate 4 cookies when you only meant to eat 1. Or maybe you meant to work out during the day and then all of a sudden you're crawling into bed and you realize you didn't, so now you're all down on yourself and you fucked up and oh my god, life is just right? I've done that. Yeah. So that's fine. That's human. That's just, I don't know why. That's just the way human nature is. Probably because we're exposed to so much negative things in our life that we just think that's the norm. So the trick to all that is not focusing on it, okay? Not falling into that trap of that negative mind chatter in our heads, okay? Recognize it. Acknowledge you fucked up. And then move on, okay? That's how we start to change the way we think about something, okay? Our thoughts. Just because you screwed up doesn't make you a failure. And failure is a swear word in my world, okay? That's such bullshit. Just because you screwed up doesn't mean you failed. Doesn't mean you give up on your dream, on your goals. Just means you had a setback. How are you going to react to that setback? Are you going to let yourself get sucked down into it? Or are you going to look at it, acknowledge that you fucked up, and then move on? Let it go and move on. Okay? So that is what I mean by it. Life knocks us off course all the time. It's either trying to teach us a lesson about something, or it's just like, no, you have to work a little harder. It's about how we react to a negative situation or a negative thought, okay? So if you have this negative thought and you think, I'm lazy. Are you really lazy? Just because you didn't work out, are you actually lazy? Probably not. Chances are that you were busy all day and maybe that's why you didn't work out. Or maybe you didn't have a busy day and you still didn't work out. That doesn't make you a failure. It just means that particular day you didn't work out, okay? Not a big deal. We all do that. It's okay. It's okay. So rather than focusing on like the negative experience, focus on what maybe you have learned from it and then move on. Just move on, let it go and move on. Same with your negative thoughts, change it. So if you're in that negative mind chatter of telling yourself you suck, that you screwed up, that you're a fuck up, all those things that we tell ourselves. I want you to stop and think about whether or not you would say those things to somebody else. Would you? If your best friend screwed up, would you say to them, you're a fuck up, you're screwed? Might as well just quit. Throw in the towel. Well, why bother, right? Would you tell that to them? Or would you say, you know what? It's okay. It's going to be okay. You messed up. Learn from it and move on. Exactly, right? So, if you wouldn't say it to somebody else, why are you saying it to yourself? Yeah. That was a huge one for me. When I was made aware that those kinds of things, that I was doing that, it was like, holy shit, yeah, why do I talk to myself that way? I'm not saying that I don't. However, now I am able to stop myself, recognize it for what it is, bullshit, and move on from it. Okay, so that's tip number 1 for shifting our thoughts. Tip number 2, it's pretty simple. Rather than thinking about I have to, change it to I get to. So a little bit of language change. When you say I have to do something, it almost feels, for me anyways, it almost feels like my choice has been taken away from me. Okay? When I say I get to do something, then it's like, yeah, I control that. It's my choice whether I do this or if I don't do this. I get to do this. So in terms of your health and your fitness, I have to eat a salad? No, you don't. I get to eat a salad? Yeah, you do. You still get that choice, right? You honestly still have a choice. Nobody's taking your choice away from you in this challenge, okay? It all comes down to you and the choices that you make, okay? So when you choose to speak to yourself or in a more positive language and you choose to say, I get to do things rather than I have to do things, it changes your mindset, okay? So that's number 2. That one is pretty simple, right? So think, I get to exercise, not I have to exercise. Because if you stop and think about some of the people out there in this world who can't exercise for a health reason or what have you, you're pretty lucky to be able to move your body in whatever way, shape, or form you want to move your body, okay? Now, number 3 is about what we focus on at the end of the day or throughout the day. As humans, we tend to focus on our to-do list, right? And we all have them. Some of them are short, some of them are really long. The thing is, that to-do list never goes away, okay? There's always going to be a to-do list. There's one tomorrow, there's one 5 years from now, there's going to be one 10 years from now. Simply because we get up and we have things to do. So we have a to-do list. Whether you actually have a written out to-do list or it's held up here, or it's just a feeling that you need to do things, it doesn't matter. How I want you to shift your thoughts around your to-do list is focus on your to-done list. Yeah, ta-da! So you have something on your to-do list. It's been there for a while. Okay, whatever. When you move it, when you get it done, and I'm going to challenge you guys this week to take one thing that's on your to-do list, something that you've been meaning to do but just have been putting off, pretending you've been busy, can't do this, can't do that. I don't care what it is. It might be reading a book, it might be painting your house, whatever it might be. I want you to focus on that one little thing, or big thing, whichever, and try to move it from your to-do list to your to-done list this week. If it's a bigger project, like maybe painting your house, maybe set a date as to when you will actually be finished it. Okay, so if you're painting your entire house, it might take you longer than a week. I don't know. But set an end date, a goal date as to when you're going to have that particular job, item, whatever you want to call it, thing on your to-do list done. Okay, so that's step one for this. Step two is don't get so caught up in your to-do list. Okay? So when you crawl into bed, what does that mean? So when you crawl into bed, I want you to focus more on what you did do that day, what you did accomplish, whether it be a big thing or a small thing. Maybe you cleaned your house. Awesome. Focus on that. That's a win. Maybe you sat and read a book that you've been meaning to read. Great. That's a win. It might be as simple as you got your ass out of bed. That's a win. Okay? Doesn't matter how big or how small the win is. If you accomplished it and you didn't think you could, or you just were putting it off, or you don't recognize it as an accomplishment. Because, quite frankly, every day in our lives is an accomplishment. Every day that we survive in this world is a fucking accomplishment. Okay? I don't care if you're a huge, what's the word I'm like? I don't care if you're an elite athlete and you just crush the wads left and right. Or if you're somebody who is just starting out and you did the warm-up. They're both wins, okay? They are both wins. So fucking pat yourself on the back and celebrate that shit. Like, I mean, really celebrate it. Be happy about what you accomplished in a day. For you parents who are at home with children right now. If at the end of the day you crawl into bed and say, you know what, I didn't kill my kids today. That's a win, okay? I would say maybe change the language a little bit to, I kept my kids safe today. It's a win, okay? So what could some wins be? Okay, so like I said, hey, we're supposed to drink our water, right? So if you did that, awesome, that's a win. If you made a friend feel better, that's a win. If you made a healthy choice in food, that's a win. If you cleaned your house, that's a win. If you, like I said, kept your kids safe, that's a win. There's so many wins throughout our day. So here's what I want you to do at the end of your day. As you're getting ready for bed, make this part of your bedtime routine. As you're getting ready for bed, once you crawled into bed, or maybe before, you can do it before, after you're in bed, whichever. You can write it down, or you can just think it if you're not one for journaling or writing things out. I want you to focus on what it is that you did accomplish throughout the day, okay? So if you're writing in a journal, just say accomplishments today, wins today, and write down everything that you accomplished in the day. Keep it in a positive language. It's kind of like that. I didn't kill my kids today. I kept my kids safe today. So you want to keep it in a positive language, okay? So once you've done all that, once you've written down all the wins for the day, give yourself a pat on the back, okay? Celebrate it. So here's something about when you do this, you will actually fall asleep in a calm and relaxed state and get a better sleep, okay? If you crawl into bed at night and you're thinking about all the things, on your to-do list that you didn't get accomplished today, or all the fuck ups or all the screw ups. And if that's what you're focusing on when you crawl into bed and you're feeling, it makes you feel anxious and overwhelmed. And when you fall asleep, that's how you fall asleep, anxious and overwhelmed, and you have a crappy sleep. Okay? So when you focus on your wins throughout the day, when you focus on all the positives throughout the day and all the things that you get to do throughout the day, you actually are in a state of calmness, of peace, happiness, and you actually have a better sleep. Yeah, keep that in mind, you guys. And you guys all know that. You've fallen asleep with worrying, and you know you don't sleep well. When you fall asleep with nothing else on your mind but sleeping, you actually have a much better sleep. Okay, so those are the 3 things to help shift your thoughts. So first of all, focus on the positive. Always find a positive. There's always, always, always a positive. I don't care how dark the negative is, there is always a positive. There is always light in the darkness. Without the light, there is no darkness. Without the darkness, there is no light. Number 2, remember you get to do things, okay? Nobody has to do anything. We get to do things, okay? Number 3, celebrate your wins. Just live it up, you guys. Think back to when you were a child and your teacher would give you a gold star or whatever color star and put it on a chart. How good you felt about that. How proud of yourself you were, right? You didn't focus on, when you were a small child, children don't focus on the things that they need to do. They just focus on the things they want to do, right? And they don't get so bogged down in things they screwed up. No, they just move on. They let it go and they move on. So, guess I'm saying tap into your inner child. Anyways, just let yourself celebrate the wins. Big, small, medium, 1, 20, I don't care. Celebrate it. Tap yourself, pat yourself, not tap, pat yourself on the back for the things you have accomplished in the day. And celebrate you. Because you are worth celebrating every day. And that is the honest to God truth. You are worth celebrating every day. So, those are my tips for shifting your thoughts. Have a good week, you guys. Let's crush week number 2 of this challenge, and I'll